Stellar's search, is XLM outpacing XRP in 2025? XLM or XRP? It's the rivalry no one's really talking about, but they should be. While the crypto spotlight keeps getting hijacked by Bitcoin's next halving or Ethereum's next upgrade, a quieter, more strategic war has been playing out in the background. And now in 2025? That background battle is front and center. Because this isn't just a case of two coins trying to pump. This is two entirely different visions for the future of finance, colliding in real time. And the one that's quietly pulling ahead? It might not be the one everyone expected. Everyone's been watching XRP for the fireworks. The leveraged ETF. The billion-dollar Ripple acquisition of Hidden Road. The global bank integrations that flood headlines and fuel price surges. XRP's got the spotlight, no doubt. But Stellar? Stellar's not chasing headlines, it's chasing dominance. Quietly, consistently, relentlessly. While Ripple's been busy securing institutional clout from the top down, Stellar has been rebuilding the foundation from the bottom up, launching Soroban, onboarding real businesses, attracting DeFi devs, and locking in actual usage metrics. We're talking about real programmable finance, not just speculative plays. We're talking about trade finance protocols going live on-chain. On Stellar. Right now. Here's what most people don't see. Beneath the surface, Stellar has shifted from being just a payments network to becoming a serious contender in the institutional DeFi arena. And it's doing it with a compliance-first, enterprise-ready, fully scalable smart contract stack, one that even Ethereum can't match in some areas. Forget the noise. Forget the tribalism. Forget who had the most viral headlines last quarter. This isn't just about price speculation anymore. It's about who's actually building the infrastructure of future finance. It's about who institutions trust. It's about who's shipping product, who's solving real problems, and who's ready for regulation. And right now, XLM is quietly checking every single one of those boxes. So in this breakdown, we're diving straight into one big question. Is Stellar actually outpacing XRP in 2025? Because if you're holding either one, or thinking about jumping in, you need to hear what's really happening. Not the hype. Not the headlines. The fundamentals. The adoption. And if you're the type who likes getting ahead of the curve before it's cool, do what the smart ones do. Hit that subscribe button right now and join the Be Crypto Smart crew. We break this stuff down with no fluff, just data, strategy, and opportunity. Alright, let's get into it. From shadow to spotlight, XLM's 2025 breakout. For the longest time, Stellar was the quiet one in the room. Born from the same roots as XRP. Literally, Stellar was co-founded by Jed McCaleb, the same mind that helped bring Ripple to life. But while Ripple went corporate and hogged the institutional spotlight, Stellar took the road less traveled. It focused on humanitarian use cases, cross-border remittances, and quietly serving the underserved. Respectable? Absolutely. Headline-grabbing? Not so much. And for years, that narrative stuck. XRP became the rock star, making noise with global banks, battling the SEC, launching ETFs, acquiring prime brokers. Stellar? It was cast as XRP's little brother. The quieter one. The NGO chain. The underdog. But 2025 flipped the script. Because while most people were distracted by courtroom drama and meme coin mania, Stellar was rebuilding itself from the ground up. The launch of Soroban smart contracts was a turning point. Not just a technical upgrade, but a full-on evolution of the Stellar network. It went from a specialized payments rail to a programmable financial layer, one that could now support everything from DeFi protocols and tokenized assets to institutional-grade smart contracts. Suddenly, Stellar wasn't just competing with XRP anymore. It was stepping into the ring with Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and every other L1 in the smart contract arena. But here's the plot twist. Stellar didn't try to outspeed them. It didn't try to outhype them. It outcomplied them. While other blockchains are still retrofitting compliance features as an afterthought, Stellar built it in from the start. KYC hooks, regulated asset issuance, transparent governance, and native support for stablecoins. It's not just DeFi, it's compliant DeFi. And that's what institutions actually care about. So while XRP is still wrestling with jurisdictional clarity in parts of the world, Stellar is quietly becoming the go-to infrastructure for regulated tokenization. That includes real-world assets, cross-border trade finance, and on-chain money markets. Not theoretical, not testnet. Right now, we're seeing the shift in the data. Transaction volumes on Stellar are climbing, not because of bots or wash trading, but because of real economic activity. Developer activity is ramping up, thanks to Soroban unlocking programmability that devs actually want to use. Institutional engagement is accelerating, with platforms like Palago Labs, Franklin Templeton, and MoneyGram all choosing Stellar over the alternatives. And here's the part most people are missing. This isn't Stellar's final form. This is just its breakout year. The chain that used to live in XRP's shadow is now casting one of its own, and institutions are taking notice. If you thought Stellar was just a feel-good remittance project, 2025 just proved otherwise. Why Soroban changes everything for Stellar? Let's cut straight to it. Soroban is the game changer. Not just for Stellar, but potentially for the entire DeFi space. For years, the knock against Stellar was simple but serious. You couldn't build on it. Sure, it was fast. Sure, it was cheap. But without smart contracts, Stellar couldn't compete with the likes of Ethereum, Solana, or Avalanche in the DeFi and dApp arena. It was a one-trick pony, elite for payments, useless for programmability. Then came Soroban, and that changed everything. But here's what sets Soroban apart. This isn't just another rushed EVM fork. This isn't a desperate plug-and-play to catch up to Ethereum. Soroban was built from scratch, using Rust, the same high-performance language powering blockchains like Solana, Polkadot, and parts of Ethereum's own infrastructure. But the key? Soroban was designed with one goal in mind: enterprise-grade DeFi. Not hype. Not speculation. Usability. Predictability. Compliance. Stability. Here's what makes it different. 1. Predictable, low-cost execution. Gas wars? Gone. Soroban's fee structure is engineered for consistency. Businesses can run operations at scale without worrying about cost spikes or network congestion. This isn't just good UX, it's a CFO's dream. Financial models need predictability, and Soroban delivers that. 2. Built-in compliance hooks. This is where Soroban separates itself from Ethereum entirely. You don't need to bolt on third-party KYC layers or build compliance wrappers from scratch. KYC, whitelisting, and asset controls are baked right into the protocol. Institutions love this because it means less risk, faster onboarding, and easier audits. 3. Native interoperability with Stellar's payment layer. Here's the kicker. Soroban isn't some isolated sidechain or bolt-on. It's natively integrated into Stellar's core network. That means smart contracts can seamlessly interact with payment rails, whether you're moving dollars, euros, stablecoins, or CBDCs. It's DeFi that talks to TradFi in real time. This opens up use cases that most other chains still can't touch. Tokenized asset issuance with built-in compliance. Automated cross-border settlements with integrated FX logic. Smart wallets for regulated users, connected to global banking networks. And this isn't just a roadmap fantasy. It's already happening. Palago Labs is building trade finance platforms directly on Soroban, powering real-world invoice markets that connect businesses across borders. USDC from Circle is being routed through Soroban-based logic for treasury flows. NGOs and fintechs are leveraging smart contracts to handle programmable aid disbursements, on-chain, but fully controlled. Meanwhile, the competition? Ethereum's still dealing with gas spikes and layer 2 fragmentation. Solana's fast, but its downtime has become a meme, and that's not something institutions joke about. Avalanche and Polkadot? Great tech, but the adoption curve is still crawling. Stellar, with Soroban, is quietly executing at the enterprise level, without the drama, without the noise, without the hype. And that's exactly why Soroban matters. Because we're not just talking about a technical upgrade. We're talking about unlocking an entirely new market segment: compliant DeFi, institutional-grade automation, and TradFi-DeFi convergence. This is where the next $1 trillion of on-chain value gets built. And Soroban just positions Stellar to be the foundation layer of all of it. Compliance isn't boring. It's a competitive edge. Let's be honest, compliance? It doesn't make headlines. You're not going to see influencers making hype videos about AML frameworks or regulatory sandbox programs. Most retail traders couldn't care less about KYC hooks, jurisdictional licenses, or federated trust models. But here's the reality. Institutions care. A lot. And in 2025, with global regulators tightening their grip, compliance isn't a box to check, it's the key to survival. This is where Stellar has been playing four-dimensional chess while most chains are still learning the rules. While Ethereum, Solana, and others have spent years prioritizing decentralization and composability, often at the expense of compliance, Stellar took a radically different path. It didn't chase hype. It didn't try to win the retail narrative. It went institutional from day one. Let's talk receipts. 1. Partnerships that actually mean something. IBM, MoneyGram, Franklin Templeton. These aren't fly-by-night Web3 collabs or empty press releases. These are deep integrations built around Stellar's ability to satisfy real regulatory and enterprise demands. Stellar wasn't trying to be cool. It was trying to be compliant. And that decision is paying off big time. 2. Protocol-level compliance infrastructure. While most blockchains try to retrofit compliance, adding KYC through Layer 2 apps or building complex permission layers after launch, Stellar embedded it from the start. Regulated asset issuance, built-in, whitelist transactions, native support, federated trust models, standard feature, stablecoin frameworks with jurisdictional backing, like USDC and EURC, already live. This means institutions can plug into Stellar without reinventing their entire legal and risk stack. It's not a workaround. It's ready for audits today. Compare that to Ethereum. Compliance there often feels like duct tape. KYC is bolted on through third-party providers. Asset restrictions require custom smart contracts. Whitelists have to be manually coded and maintained. That's fine for retail DeFi. But if you're a bank, a government agency, or a trillion-dollar asset manager, you need a chain that won't break compliance the second it goes live. And that's why the most serious institutional projects are picking Stellar. Franklin Templeton built tokenized money market funds directly on Stellar, not Ethereum, because of its native compliance architecture. MoneyGram chose Stellar for on-chain remittances, handling real fiat to crypto flows, with full compliance baked in. Palago Labs didn't even consider Ethereum. They're building institutional DeFi systems, and Stellar is the only network that checks every regulatory box. 3. A moat most chains can't build. Here's the long play. In the next few years, DeFi is going to get regulated. It's not a matter of if, it's already happening. Projects that don't comply? They'll get shut out of banking rails, delisted from major exchanges, or blocked from institutional use. That's why Stellar's head start matters. It's not scrambling to comply retroactively. It's not fighting regulators. It's already there, and that gives it a huge moat. We're not just talking about competitive advantage. We're talking about survivability in the next evolution of crypto. So while other chains are busy optimizing TPS or launching gimmicky L3s, Stellar is quietly becoming the foundation of compliant DeFi. Not sexy? Maybe not. But billions in institutional capital don't care about sexy. They care about risk, regulation, and reliability. And Stellar is the one blockchain that understood that from day one. The death of hype, the rise of utility. We've all witnessed it. The relentless hype. Dog coins, meme tokens, and the endless AI-powered promises that took over the market in waves. Crypto has been a playground for narratives that come and go faster than seasons change. But here's the reality check. As the market matures, so do its players. The narrative of quick riches is losing its grip, and institutions are no longer interested in chasing the next viral trend. They're buying infrastructure, not memes. And this is where Stellar steps in. While the hype cycles come and go, Stellar has been quietly, methodically building something that's standing the test of time. A system that isn't just about what's trending today. It's about what will be essential tomorrow. Let's break this down further. Retail frenzy? That's fading fast. We saw it in 2021. The explosion of retail interest, the FOMO-driven buying sprees, the meme coin madness. But where are those investors now? They've moved on to the next shiny object. What's left, though, are the real players in this space: builders, venture capitalists, and enterprises with a focus on long-term viability. They're no longer driven by speculation or the fear of missing out on the next meme coin explosion. Instead, they're looking for projects with real utility. In the crypto market of today, it's all about use case over speculation. If a project doesn't have a compelling, real-world application, it's dead in the water. The days of vague promises and unrealistic price predictions are over. Projects now need to prove their worth. They need to show how they're solving real-world problems, not just riding on the coattails of hype. Stellar's use cases aren't just theoretical, they're live. Remittances? Trade finance? Tokenized money markets? Stellar isn't just talking about what it can do, it's already doing it. And that's the difference between those who are chasing the next hype cycle and those who are building for the long haul. When it comes to building on a blockchain, stability is key. No one, whether it's a retail investor or a multinational enterprise, wants to put their faith in a blockchain that's prone to outages, forks, or constant exploits. We've all seen it before, projects that go down for hours, or even days, leaving users stranded and businesses in chaos. That's not an issue with Stellar. Since its launch, it's had zero downtime. That kind of reliability isn't just impressive, it's a requirement for serious institutional adoption. No one wants to rely on a chain that might disappear or break when they need it the most. Here's the crux of it: Stellar didn't chase hype. It didn't throw all its energy into getting attention from the latest trend. Instead, it focused on building infrastructure that works, that's reliable, and that meets the needs of real-world applications. It built quietly but persistently, and now the market is coming to it. As the speculative frenzy fades, the demand for utility-driven blockchains like Stellar is only going to rise. In the end, the market doesn't care about what's flashy, it cares about what works. And that's the bottom line. Stellar is a survivor, not a flash in the pan. It's here to stay, and that's why it's rising while others fade into oblivion. Palago Labs, the killer app no one saw coming. If there's one name you need to remember in 2025 when it comes to institutional DeFi, it's Palago Labs. Forget the noise of more decentralized exchanges, DEXs, or the latest meme coin craze. Palago isn't interested in jumping on the hype train. What they're doing is far more impactful. They're building a full-stack trade finance ecosystem on Stellar. Let that sink in. Trade finance. On blockchain. And not just some half-baked experiment. We're talking real-world, institutional-grade infrastructure that's set to redefine how the global market functions. Here's what they're bringing to the table. On-chain invoice factoring. Turning receivables into real assets on the blockchain, bringing liquidity to businesses who need it most. Tokenized receivables. Creating tradable, secure digital assets backed by real-world invoices. Automated treasury management. Streamlining corporate finance operations with a level of efficiency that traditional systems can't match. Working capital lending. Providing the lifeblood to businesses by unlocking credit through blockchain-backed assets. This isn't some niche project. This is a $3.5 trillion global market. A market that's desperately in need of better infrastructure, especially when it comes to liquidity, automation, and transparency. And Palago Labs? They're the ones delivering that on Stellar, powered by Soroban smart contracts. So why does this matter? It matters because it unlocks enterprise demand for XLM. This is where things get really interesting. When companies start onboarding their suppliers, when liquidity pools start backing real invoices, when tokenized supply chains go live, all of a sudden, XLM isn't just a speculative asset. It's the backbone of real-world operations. XLM will power the infrastructure behind a trillion-dollar industry that runs on day-to-day business transactions, not just retail speculation. Palago's platform makes XLM the fuel for an ecosystem that bridges the gap between DeFi and traditional finance. And that's the game changer. Palago's launch isn't just a proof of concept. It's a live, working product that's already being piloted by companies. This is institutional DeFi in action, not some futuristic white paper idea, not some long-shot vision. It's here. And it's happening right now on Stellar. The most incredible part? Most of the crypto world has no idea this is even happening. The general public is still fixated on the next token pump or price surge. But behind the scenes, Palago is building the infrastructure that will power the future of global finance. When this system scales, and make no mistake, it will scale, XLM will be at the center of it all. This isn't about short-term pumps or moonshots. This is about building the foundation for a new financial system. And Palago Labs is showing everyone exactly how it's done. If you haven't been paying attention, you might want to start. The real revolution is happening quietly, on Stellar. XRP's momentum, but is it enough? Let's not kid ourselves. XRP is having a strong 2025. The leveraged XRP ETF? That's bringing serious volume into the market. The kind of volume that would make any crypto asset jealous. Ripple's acquisition of prime broker Hidden Road? A power move in the traditional finance world, further cementing Ripple's place at the intersection of crypto and Wall Street. Then there are the CBDC pilots, expanding rapidly across the globe, with XRP continuing to play a pivotal role in facilitating cross-border payments for central banks. But here's where the question arises. Is it enough? XRP's momentum is undeniable, but most of its progress is still coming from the top down. Ripple is leading the charge. XRP holders are riding the wave. But at the end of the day, Ripple controls much of the narrative. That can be a strength in the short term, don't get me wrong. Ripple is a proven player, and its partnerships with major financial institutions and regulators are impressive. But there's a catch. This centralized structure leaves XRP vulnerable to potential risks tied to one company's performance, regulatory challenges, and market sentiment. Now, let's compare that to Stellar. The story here is different. Stellar's growth is more decentralized. It's not just Ripple at the helm. We've got multiple major players, Palago, MoneyGram, Circle, Franklin Templeton, building independently on Stellar's open rails. These aren't small, speculative projects. These are some of the most respected names in finance, creating real-world use cases, each contributing to the ecosystem in their own way. This decentralized growth structure makes Stellar's ecosystem less dependent on any one company's success. It's a system that's resilient by design. If one player stumbles, the rest of the ecosystem can continue to thrive. Stellar has created a network effect that's far less susceptible to the ups and downs of any single entity's fortunes, giving it a unique edge when it comes to long-term sustainability. And then there's the regulatory angle. XRP is still facing scrutiny in some jurisdictions, with ongoing regulatory challenges and legal hurdles that Ripple is actively navigating. This has created a degree of uncertainty, especially for institutional players who need clear and consistent regulatory frameworks to move forward. On the flip side, Stellar is being embraced in highly regulated environments. The structure of Stellar's ecosystem, with its focus on compliance and its strong relationships with regulators, has allowed it to forge strong partnerships with banks, governments, and enterprise-level firms. Stellar isn't just playing by the rules, it's helping define them in real time. This gives Stellar an added layer of legitimacy and trust, especially as regulatory clarity becomes one of the most important factors in institutional adoption. So, what's the bottom line in 2025? It's not just about adoption. It's about who's positioned to sustain it. XRP might have the momentum right now, but Stellar is building a more robust, decentralized foundation with a wider array of participants. The market is starting to recognize that growth in crypto isn't just about the initial wave of adoption, it's about building the infrastructure that can stand the test of time. And that's where Stellar's true strength lies. It's not dependent on one company's success. It's a network that's designed to grow, scale, and thrive regardless of who's in the driver's seat. XRP might be making waves, but Stellar is quietly laying the groundwork for a much larger, more sustainable future. The question is, When the dust settles, which one will be left standing as the true leader? Time will tell. But the signs are clear. Stellar is positioning itself for the long haul. Developer momentum. Who's actually building? Let's pull some receipts. In 2025, Stellar's developer ecosystem has exploded, and it's all thanks to Soroban. If you're not paying attention to this, you should be. Soroban is the smart contract platform that's taken Stellar to the next level. It's turbocharging the developer experience and creating a perfect storm of activity. Developer grants? Hackathon participation? Tripled. GitHub commits? Surging like never before. The momentum is real, and it's not slowing down. Let's talk tooling. Stellar's tooling and SDKs are now robust, enterprise-grade, and ready for prime time. This isn't just a network built for tech enthusiasts or small experiments anymore. Stellar is building out a full suite of developer tools that are enabling real, enterprise-level projects to be built on its blockchain. The kind of projects that are going to power businesses and industries, not just some speculative farming protocol. Meanwhile, XRP's smart contract platform, Hooks, is still in development. And to be clear, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that when you compare it to Stellar's developer momentum, it's playing catch-up. Hooks remains niche, with its focus still very much on limited use cases. XRP's developer ecosystem isn't nearly as vibrant or active as Stellar's is right now. Why does this matter? Because a vibrant developer community means so much more than just a few code snippets getting pushed. It means more apps. With developers flocking to Stellar, we're seeing a steady stream of new applications built on the network. These aren't your typical DeFi dApps either. These are real-world, business-focused applications. More integrations. More apps mean more opportunities for integrations. And integrations mean more connections between Stellar and the real world. The more real-world businesses connect to Stellar's rails, the more entrenched it becomes in global financial infrastructure. More user activity. The more apps and integrations you have, the more users will flock to the network. Increased user activity directly drives demand for the native token, XLM. As businesses use XLM to power transactions, liquidity, and contracts, the need for it grows. More demand for XLM. This is key. The more real-world applications being built on Stellar's ecosystem, the more demand there will be for XLM. It won't just be speculation driving up the price. It'll be real, organic demand driven by business activity. And right now, Stellar is attracting builders who are focused on solving real business problems, not just jumping in to grab a quick speculative DeFi yield. This shift in focus changes everything. Gone are the days when crypto development was about building the next meme token or farming protocol. We're in an era where the blockchain is solving tangible, everyday issues for businesses. Whether it's trade finance, cross-border payments, supply chain logistics, or decentralized finance for enterprise, developers on Stellar are laser-focused on creating products that work in the real world. That shift? That's the inflection point. This is no longer a niche technology. This is a full-fledged development ecosystem that is attracting serious talent and serious capital. When businesses and developers see where the real value is, they flock to where it's being built. And right now, that's on Stellar. This is why the future of Stellar isn't just a pipe dream. It's happening right now, and the momentum is building fast. As Soroban continues to evolve, more developers will come. More projects will launch. And the demand for XLM will rise in ways we're only beginning to see. The real question isn't whether Stellar has developer momentum, it's how far this momentum will take it. And the answer is, much further than anyone thought. Is XLM outpacing XRP? So, back to our original question. Is XLM outpacing XRP in 2025? If we're talking pure hype cycles? Maybe not yet. But if we're talking institutional traction, real-world adoption, regulatory alignment, developer activity, ecosystem decentralization, then the answer is clear. Stellar has quietly become one of the most powerful, compliant, and enterprise-ready blockchains in the world. And most people still haven't noticed. That's the opportunity. Because when the market wakes up to what's actually happening here, XLM won't be flying under the radar anymore. If you're still reading, drop a comment below. XLM 2025, so we know you're part of the smart money. And don't forget to subscribe to Be Crypto Smart for more breakdowns like this before they hit the mainstream. We'll see you in the next one.